Okay, back again. Here we are for the second video in the series for how to use hrds.org.uk Learning Management System for HRD services as a student, and we're using the Preparing to Teach in the Lifelong Learning Sector qualification as an example to show students how to navigate through the system. But this resource will also be useful for trainers and anyone else who uses Moodle generally. So I've already put my username in and my password, so again I log in and it brings me to an overview of the courses that I'm enrolled in. So I'll choose Petals Level 4 again. We left off the last time looking at the induction and enrollment documentation, how to send that documentation to the tutor, having downloaded it, edited it and uploaded the Word and Excel sheets through the system and send for marking to the tutor. So this time we're just going to look at the resources and how to access the resources in the system, some quick tips on how to do that effectively so that you don't lose your main course page. This is one of the things that students tell me is most frustrating, is when they're on the main course page and they click on something and it takes them away from that, and obviously they lose their place. So again, let's just scroll down the page. We looked at induction and enrollment in the first video of the series, and now we're going to look at the theory and practical study resources for the program. So if we click on that and scroll down the page again, we can reveal all the resources in that section. Now, I've also put a little blurb here on what to do when you're in the system, a little tip to right click on any of the resources to have it open up in a separate tab. So I'll show you how to do that now. So if we just simply click on one of the learning objects, that's the brown box icon right here. This is an interactive learning object that I have included in the system. So if I right click on this and open in new tab, that prevents me from losing my main course page. I simply now click on that second tab and it brings me to the learning object, which I can click on here and it should open up no problem. Depending on the browser you're using, you might have an issue with this. You may have to play about with it a little bit to get it to work for you properly. But what I've done here is simply take the BTEC specification information and put it into PowerPoint slide format for students to follow through. Okay, so if we click on that, the first part of the course looks at the role and responsibilities and boundaries of the teacher. So this section covers the broad information that you need to be aware of for taking up a career in the further and adult education sector. And you simply work through the slides and any associated activities and exercises that you come across. For example, here's a mind mapping exercise that you can open up again in a separate tab. This brings you through to an external link, and of course it's recommended that you would have a notepad or a piece of paper with a pen to hand so that you could actually start producing a mind map and work through the activities that way. Basically, you're just doing something that you would be doing in a classroom in the absence of your teacher. So just close that down again, and we can now close down this resource actually, because we don't need to go through it all in its entirety to show you what else is involved in that particular interactive learning object. So back to the main course view again. If we want to scroll down a little bit, here's the Petals Level 4 specification document from the awarding authority. We can open that again with a right click. And some of these documents are quite big. For example, this one's 66 pages, but some of the ebooks can range between 300 and 600 pages. So it's obviously not recommended that you download and print all of these pages out. It's not good for the environment, for one, and you probably won't need to do that anyway. But the specification document always contains the necessary information. Now this is the old one we're looking at here. The new 12 credit Petals is out. This is for the 6 credit Preparing to Teach in the Lifelong Learning Sector program, and that needs to be updated in the system as we start to deliver the new 12 credit qualification. But you've got lots of information in here that will help you understand what the program is about, structure of the qualification, it shows you the mandatory unit, etc., and what needs to be met in terms of assessment criteria, and of course how you will be assessed as well. So that's a very useful document to have open at any time when you're working in the system. And that is called the specification document from the awarding authority. In this case, it's the BTEC Edexcel Level 4 Preparing to Teach in the Lifelong Learning Sector specification document. Okay, so we can close that down, just showing you that as an example of one of the resources in the system. Let's take a look here at another ebook to show you how valuable these are as a resource and how you can use them, of course, to respond effectively to your assignment task questions. We will take a look in a couple of minutes at how to open up one of the assignment briefs to see what you have to do. That'll be video number 3 in the series. I'm going to keep this as short as possible to keep your attention and recall high. So here we have the ebook Teaching in the Teaching in the Lifelong Learning Sector by Peter Scales. There's lots of good information in here. Again, depending on your browser, this may take some time to open, so don't despair if you have a slow internet connection, and just be patient there to allow it time to open fully. Again, it is not recommended that you download these books due to copyright. They're only provided in the system for study purposes and not for redistribution in any way, so that's something that we enforce as a business, as a school. HRD services insist that the security of documents and copyright issues are maintained at all times. So we've got a lot of sections here that will help you compile responses to your assignment task questions. What I would recommend you do, of course, is take a look at the assignments, see what has been asked of you, and then refer to the ebooks to look for valuable information and extract some of that information, of course, referencing it as you go along. So you've got some interesting sections here on teaching and learning methods, which of course is an integral part of the program. Resources for teaching and learning when it comes to planning sessions to meet the needs of learners. We've got to think of equality, diversity and inclusion, etc. So that is how you open up one of your ebooks. And of course, it is recommended that you use your laptop or your computer to read the screen. And when you come across something interesting, if you do want to print something out, you can, of course, Control P, or if you simply want to go to the File tab and choose Print, you get an option asking you what you would like to print. So if we go to Current Page, we don't want to choose all, obviously, because then you'll end up printing the entire ebook, and that's obviously not what we want to happen, basically. So then you just simply choose Print and off you go. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, we'll close that window down again, and we haven't lost our main course page. Okay, that's enough on navigating the resources for now. In the third part of the series, I'll be back with you again to talk to you about the assignment briefs, what to look at in terms of the learning outcomes, objectives of the assignment, the component parts of an assignment task question to ensure that you're effectively answering the questions being asked of you. Okay, be back in a minute.